It often only takes one person to make a big change in a city. Saginaw, a city that was once vibrant and filled with life, has become riddled with crime, poverty, and unemployment. 42-year-old artist Eric Shantz decided to make it his mission to bring a new life back into the place that he loves so much.
I love our culture. I love the people here. I have a tattoo that says Saginaw proper on it. It's done like gashes because it reminds me to make something beautiful out of the pain. When I moved here, when I was about 27 years old, the city was plywooded up. There were 13,000 empty residential units in the city in that year. You'd be surrounded by boarded up, plywooded buildings. Did some research, looked into city laws, looked into regulations on plywooded buildings, and you can't legally put plywood on a building and not have it painted. So I figured that if I painted on the plywood, I wouldn't actually get in any trouble because I'm not really vandalizing anything. I'm doing the property owners a favor by decorating it. So that's kind of where it started.
In the course of his career, Eric has painted dozens of murals across Saginaw. However, one of his most popular paintings happens to be the mural that meant the most to him.
And a lot of people know of the painting and don't know who it's of. Sean Stennett was a friend of mine that was murdered in 2010. We were opening a small community center across the street from the coffee house that he worked at. And the day that I gave him the keys to the place is the day that he got gunned down. So when he died, it was exceptionally tragic for the neighborhood. He was well liked and well loved by lots of people. And so putting something up to commemorate him was, as a painter, I felt that, that's what I was going to do. That's what I do.
Shantz's murals have had a larger impact on the town than he could have ever imagined. Kate Scheid-Weber, the head of Francis Ray Academy, was one of the many people that was moved by Shantz's artwork.
I saw his artwork all over downtown, and I loved a number of the pieces, but particularly I think it was the irises on the back of the Savoy building. Eric came in and we met in small teams with the middle schoolers, and he brainstormed with them about what they would like to see in their hallway. It's just a sense of pride that comes along with being in a place that is beautiful and reflective of who you are.
I think what Eric's trying to do is awesome. I think he's before his time.
Henry Reyna, a crime prevention officer who works with the Saginaw Township Police, is another huge fan of Shantz's work. Reyna has taken high levels of training in crime prevention through public art.
I think the art that is currently up there has affected the community in that it makes the area more inviting. People will see a mural, they'll want to go over there and they'll get their photo taken in front of the mural. And it's with that additional population in that area that reduces crime.
Over time, Shantz and Reyna have become good friends. Together they have been working to get more support and financial aid to get more artwork put up in Saginaw. Reyna believes that art can help to reduce the volume of police calls and save the city money, but Shantz is satisfied knowing that his art can bring joy to those who may not think about artistry daily.
Saginaw's in the right direction as a lot of preservation goes. We've already torn down pretty much everything though, so what's left we really should work on keeping around. Saginaw has torn down almost 90% of the structures that used to be here. If you look at old photographs of the city, it was the same as Chicago and New York in the late 1800s, early 1900s. There's no difference in photographs.
Eric has struggled to find the proper backing to continue his work. After all the free artwork he provided for the city, they still refuse to fund his painting, and even often take credit for his artwork. Although the city may be hesitant to help, the community has certainly been impacted.
So we were under the freeway and painting, and this dude came out with like a rifle on his shoulder, right? Just came out of the bushes, and he's just like, "You guys painters? You guys make all this art?" I'm like, "Yeah, we did make some of it." And he loved it. He loved this stuff. He loved reading. He had all these stories. He talked about pieces that he had seen in different areas that he had been around, and how he loved checking out art underneath bridges and places when he'd travel, but had never actually seen anybody actually doing it. He never got to meet any artists. So to him, we were like the guys that made everything he saw everywhere. he was super excited just to meet a couple artists that did it, even though we were just down there practicing. And he offered us to come back to his little camp for some raccoon if we were hungry. Like, we stayed out there and paint. But we did have a beer with him. We had an extra beer, so we gave him a beer, and he had a beer with us while we painted.
He would see an empty spot and come up with a theme and just put it on a wall. And his artwork is amazing.
I absolutely think that Eric is making a difference in the community.
So you know, when a train hopping hobo offers you something to eat, you know you've made a difference.